Happy Tuesday. Today I want to talk about something that is very important and very important aspect of our business, and it's just having the right mindset on the phones. I've talked about this before, but this training video is, a lot of you haven't heard this before, or even if you have, this will be a helpful reminder because it's important. Well, I'll start it out with a lot of people in sales. They say regardless of what you're selling, it's important to be passionate about what you're selling, which I'm 100% an advocate of. I believe if you're, whatever product or service you're selling, you need to be passionate about that specific product or service. And there's a lot of things that the guys are selling out there. I mean, we just hired a guy a couple weeks ago. This guy was selling printers. Dude, I'm sorry. I don't know how you get passionate about selling printers. No thanks. I mean, we've hired a ton of solar, pest control, door-to-door guys. Respectfully, if I need pest control, I'm gonna go to Walmart and I will simply buy pest control. Solar panel, conserving the environment, I'm all for saving the environment and saving money on your electrical bill. I think that's great. But dude, I don't get fired up, and I don't get fired up in the morning about saving somebody $29 a month on their electrical bill, if that. But what I do get excited and what I do get fired up about is protecting families on the worst day of their life. God forbid something happens. And I challenge any of you in the comments to correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I genuinely cannot think of anything more important we could possibly be selling than protection for somebody's family. I'll give you two very quick examples of that. Number one, I had that experience personally in my life where when I was 14 years old, my mom passed away. She got diagnosed with colon cancer, and when we found out, it was already stage 4 and it had already spread to the majority of her body. So from when we found out to when she passed away, it was 3.5 weeks. It was less than a month. At the time, it was me and my 4 younger brothers. And I witnessed firsthand what that looked like on my family. And thankfully, as a kid, we were in a better financial situation than a lot of people that I knew, where my dad was the primary breadwinner. My mom was a stay-at-home mom with me and my brothers. She homeschooled all of us. She was a great mom. She had no income coming in. So if the roles would have been reversed, it would have been my dad, we would have been effed. We'd have been screwed. But it was my mom. But even though she had no income coming in, I still saw what that looked like. Not only emotionally, the emotional strain and toll of my dad had to take time off of work to recover from that because his wife just died. It was one of the worst days of his life. Our mother passed away. It was really hard. But on top of that, we had to pay for the funeral. The funeral was 30 grand. We had to bury her, tombstone. My dad had to hire a nanny to come in and take care of all my younger brothers because two of them were still in diapers. Two of them were in preschool, middle school. They were all pretty young at that time. And so I was the only one that was a little bit older. So I helped out a little bit as well, but that was still really tough. And that was a tough situation. And the reality is that most of the families we talked to would be in a even worse spot and an even tougher spot than I was than when that happened to us. If you're brand new or you're just getting licensed or you haven't had a death claim yet, the first death claim you get, I promise you, if it hasn't happened yet, it's coming, and it's gonna solidify like nothing else the importance of what we do. And I've had 7 death claims at this point. The most memorable one was 2.5 years ago. And this was when we had already switched to virtual sales, but I was training a new agent in the office. This was when we were in our old Lawler Street office that was tiny and smelled like mildew. Definitely not the beautiful office we have now. But this old grimy office, our first one that we were in the trenches. But anyway, I had a new agent in there. I was training him and he's like, dude, I want to see what a day of in-homes looks like. Can you bring me out in the field? And I love going out in the field. I love driving out to clients' homes. I think everyone should genuinely at least run 1 day of in-home presentations. At least 1 day. Everybody selling shit. If you haven't, do it. Because I can't tell you, it's just just going in somebody's home, sitting at their kitchen table, shaking their hand, looking them in the eye, the satisfaction, the fulfillment of helping them with a policy. Typically they thank you, they'll give you coffee, cookies, a lot of times they'll feed you. It's just a really great experience, and it's a very fulfilling and rewarding experience. But you'll get done with a day of in-home presentations and you're gonna say, thank God, virtual sales. I never want to have to drive out to a client's house again. So, but you should still do it because it really allows you to have the right mindset towards this business and realize that we're helping real families and these are real people. Going back to the story, so he said, I want to see what a day of in-home presentation's like. So I said, okay, great. So we grabbed an old batch of leads in Lake County, Indiana, 5-6-year-old leads, and we're grinding through them. We're grinding them. And we were able to get 6 appointments booked for the next day. And so there was this, out of one of those appointments, I called this lady and she said, called her up. You went through the whole pitch and she said, oh, nobody's ever called us about that. When can you come over? I'm like, well, they got me dispatched out there tomorrow. She said, perfect. I wish every phone call went that way. Luckily, I've got a lot of leads. Haven't had many of those experiences, but it's the perfect lay down sale. You call enough people, you'll get those lay downs. And so we show up the next day and it's this $500,000 beautiful house on the golf course. What's crazy, it's only 7-8 minutes from the Munster, Indiana office that Gabe Erickson runs. But anyway, so we go inside there and very hospitable, very sweet family, Hispanic family in their mid 40s. I try to keep my in-homes to an hour max, but we ended up being in there for 2 hours just because we were talking and we were going back and forth, and like we were just kind of cracking jokes, and they fed us a little bit, gave us some sweets. So the husband was perfectly healthy, wasn't on a single medication, didn't have a single health issue. We were able to get him coverage on the full mortgage, living benefits, the whole shebang. They thanked us for coverage. They were awesome. We took a picture with them, everything else. I obviously saved all their information on my phone, saved their contact, and so helped them out. Left. Didn't think much of it after that until the wife called me 6 months later, and of course had the picture saved into the contacts and knew it was her right away. Immediately remembered them, recognized them, answered the phone, and she was crying. And she was crying for a good 4, 5, 10 seconds. And then finally I calm her down. And as soon as she calms down, she said, my husband passed away yesterday at work due to an accident. Is that policy still in force that you helped me with? And so we were able to get that policy paid out. And she was just, when I delivered that death check, she was just so thankful. And she was crying and she hugged me and she said, thank you so much for calling me that day. And thank you for coming over. I don't know what we would have done if you wouldn't have come over that day. She was a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids. I share that story to remind you that what we do is important and it's a big deal. And it's very easy for us to get caught up in the day-to-day of, oh, I just need to hit my dials, or rent's due on the 1st. I need to pay my bills. I'm just, it's like hit my goal, trying to make money, make sales, and like get my presentations, all these different things. And you sometimes like, yes, all that's important. Yes, we're here to work hard and make money, but we're also here to help and serve families. And don't lose sight in the grind and the hustle and bustle of what's important. When you have the right mindset towards dialing the phones, nothing phases you. Nothing. I've seen new agents before where they'll come in and somebody will tell them to fuck off, and they'll hang up the phone and they'll need 30, 45 seconds, a minute to mentally recoup and like get their emotions back together and get back on the phones. And I'm sorry, but I mean, bro, it's like, dude, stop being selfish. Like, stop thinking about yourself. What's the worst thing somebody's gonna do to you? They're gonna tell you to fuck off. We're not interested. I don't know, maybe call you you're a scammer, call you names. I'm gonna call the police. It's really about it. There's really not much else they can say to you. I think some people think that they can physically like reach through the phone and they're like gonna reach through the phone and sock them or hurt them. Like, dude, they can't do anything. And so if somebody tells you to fuck off, just hang up the phone. A lot of clients we talk to, they're not our clients. They don't want our help, and it's not our job to impose or push people that don't want. Like, our job is to find the people that want it and simply help and serve them with the coverage that they want. Dude, who cares if somebody tells you to fuck off? Who gives a fuck? Hang up the phone. So you hang up the phone on them before they hang up on you. Another key point that I want to emphasize on this is you have to have a heart to help and serve families. You never lose sight of what's important, but also don't let these clients walk all over you. Because I see that with guys too, where they let clients bully them, and they let clients beat them down. Like sometimes if it's not going anywhere productive and they're just yelling at you and you're just taking it and you're just like, dude, that's not good. That's not good. That takes a toll on your mindset, your psyche of like, dude, hang up the phone. Like for me, for example, like anytime the conversation was going south, I would always hang up. I had to hang up the phone first. I don't know if it's like a weird OCD thing or an ego thing or whatever it was. I don't know. But it's like, if they got the hang up before I got the hang up, I would have to call them back, and just so I could hang up the phone first. Is that petty? Yes. Does that sound silly? Yes, that sounds very silly, but it helped my mindset. It helped my mindset tremendously. And if it helps your mindset, that's important. And that's the most important, because the most important aspect of this business is having a healthy mindset towards the phones. Guys, we all have shit days. We all have shit days. We all have days where we're going through it, whether our girlfriend or our boyfriend, we had a fight, or we got 3-4 hours of sleep. Like, dude, I got 4 hours of sleep last night. I got home late. I'm in the office, but it's whatever's going on, however crazy or uncrazy your life is, when you walk through the office, you need to leave all that at the door. And you need to come in here, when you sit down at your desk, you need to have a clean mindset to help and serve families. Or you're getting hammered on the phones and you're having a tough day. Well, we're not paid hourly here. We're paid based on performance. And so there's going to be a lot of times where you just need to power through and you just need to push through and stop being soft. But there's other times where, like, you know, taking intentional breaks and scheduling intentional breaks are important. So if you're just taking breaks, scrolling through Instagram, or like you just need 60 seconds to mentally recoup after every phone call, that's not good. But let's say, hey, I'm going to hammer the phones for the next hour, the next 2 hours. I'm gonna go take a 5-minute break. Or if you're really getting beat down and you're really feeling down on yourself, dude, go run around the building. Like, that's when I was brand new and I sucked and I wasn't confident on the phones and I wasn't having success. That helped me so much. Of like, I think it was either every hour or every 2 hours, depending on how my day was going. I would like, hey, I'm gonna hammer until 10:55. At 10:55, I get a break, and I need to earn that break. And then as soon as 10:55 hit, I would go jog around the building a couple times, exert some energy, exert some force, and I'd sit back down and get back on the phones. And dude, that helps me so much, because if you really are struggling with your mindset or struggling with your confidence, you're getting beat down on the phones, we're paid based on performance, we're not paid hourly. So that may not be the best use of your time. You know, if you're really struggling mentally, of like, dude, take a mental reset, go do some push-ups, go run around the building, go for a walk, get some fresh air, and then come back in, reset your mental, and then get back on the phones and get back to it. So I share all that because this is genuinely like just making sure your mind is in the right place and you have the right expectations, the right mindset coming is the most important. This is the most important, guys. So I'll close with this. Every day I would sit down, every single dial day, I would sit down on my desk at 7 a.m. and I would make my first dial at 7:30. Not 7:31. If I made my first dial at 7:31, I was pissed. It was 7:30 on the dot. But before I'd make that first dial, I would look at my lead sheet, and this sounds morbid, but it's true, and it helped me a lot. I would look at my lead sheet, and I would say, somebody on this lead sheet's gonna pass away tomorrow, and I'm the only person that knows. And when you have that level of confidence and that level of conviction when you're dialing the phones and you're helping these families, nothing they tell you is gonna faze you. Because we have one job. My one job is to help and serve that family. I'm not there to be their buddy. Like, yes, I want them to like me. Yes, I'm gonna be respectful. Yes, I'm personable. Yes, I smile. You know, make occasional jokes here and there. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not confused. I'm there to help and serve them. If we need to get uncomfortable, if I need to respectfully challenge them and hold them accountable, because if they need the coverage and Mary's going to be in a tough financial spot, well, I'm respectfully challenging them. If I don't help that family and they needed it, because I know it's one thing, like, they got 13 different life insurance policies and they're doing well financially, like, that's a different story. But like, dude, if they need it and there's going to be a serious income deficit, or they're going to lose the home, or they're going to be in a tough spot, dude, I'm either helping that family or we're getting really uncomfortable, because my mindset and my priorities are in the right place. And worst case scenario, if I don't help them, at least I can hang up the phone call with a justified, clean conscience, knowing that I did everything in my power to help them. And if they pass away the next day, it's not on me. It's not on me because I did my best to help and serve that family. So I hope this was helpful. If you took value from this, please like, subscribe, and share with someone else that this would help. God bless.